The world returned to Evan Cole in broken pieces. First, he heard the sharp crackle of fire. Then the cold wind pressed against his cheek. And finally, he opened his eyes to see nothing but smoke, heavy, dark, and rolling like waves around him. His spaceship lay in ruins behind him. Metal twisted, lights flickered weakly, and strange sparks jumped across the ground. The crash had been violent. Too fast. Too bright. Too sudden. Evan could not even remember what hit them. One moment he was flying through open space, and the next, everything went white. He tried to stand, but pain crawled up his side like fire. His suit was cracked. His breathing mask was half broken. Every movement felt like lifting a mountain. But he forced himself up. He had to know where he was. He had to survive. The air was thick and cold, filled with mist that moved like it had a mind of its own. It curled around Evan's legs, then drifted away like soft whispers. The sky above was a strange purple shade, with no sun, no stars, just a dim glow, like the world itself was tired. Evan took one step forward. That was when he heard it. A soft click, click, click echoing through the smoke. Not mechanical. Not metal. Something walking. Hello. Evan called, though his voice sounded thin, weak. The crash had taken more from him than he thought. No answer. But the footsteps grew closer. Evan reached for his emergency weapon, but his hand shook too much to lift it. The smoke parted in front of him like curtains opening on a stage. And then he saw her. A woman. But not human. Tall, graceful, with smooth skin that glowed faintly like silver in moonlight. Her hair floated around her as if the air moved for her. And her eyes, deep violet, bright and alive, locked onto Evan as if she had been waiting only for him. She wore no armor, no suit, nothing that showed she was dangerous. Yet Evan felt something in the air shift the moment she appeared. The ground under his feet felt lighter. The mist around them curled closer, reacting to her presence. Evan took a breath. "Are you friendly?" She did not answer. Instead, she stepped closer, her movements smooth like flowing water. Evan expected fear, but strangely, he felt none. Something about her was calm. Soft. Almost sad. She raised a hand slowly. Evan froze. His suit was cracked right where her fingers hovered. Then, without touching him, a warm light flowed from her hand. It wrapped around the broken suit like golden smoke. The crack sealed. His breathing mask beeped back to life. His pain faded until only a dull ache remained. Evan stared in shock. "You healed my suit." The woman tilted her head slightly, as if studying him. Still silent. Still unreadable. Before Evan could say anything else, the ground suddenly trembled beneath them. A deep, heavy vibration. Not an earthquake. More like something massive walking. Moving. Searching. The woman's calm expression changed. Fear entered her eyes. She turned sharply toward the darkness beyond the smoke. Her body stiffened. Evan realized she knew what was coming. "What is it?" Evan asked. She said nothing. Not with her mouth. But her eyes screamed danger. She moved closer to Evan, almost pressing her shoulder to his. Her breathing became fast. Her glowing markings dimmed and brightened, reacting to her panic. Evan touched her arm gently. "Hey, it's okay. I won't hurt you." At his touch, she flinched, not in fear, but as if the contact meant something more to her. The mist around them glowed softly. Then she spoke for the first time. Her voice was soft, almost broken. "Human, please, do not leave me alone." Evan froze. Her voice carried so much emotion, fear, hope, something deeper he could not name. Why would a powerful alien woman be afraid? Why ask a stranger for help? The ground trembled again. Louder. Closer. Heavy steps echoed across the empty land. The woman grabbed Evan's arm. Run, she whispered. Evan didn't think. He didn't ask questions. He ran beside her as the mist swirled wildly around them. Sparks burst from the ruined ship. Strange shadows moved inside the smoke. Something huge roared in the distance, low, deep, hungry. Evan glanced at the woman while they ran. Her face was tense. Her lips trembled. Her eyes glowed brighter with every step. She was not just running from danger. She was running from someone. From something that knew her. And Evan realized something terrifying. This woman was powerful. She had healed him with a single motion. The world around her reacted to her. If she was afraid, then whatever hunted her was far worse. They reached a hill of broken rock. The woman pulled Evan behind it just as a massive shadow moved across the smoke. Heavy steps shook the ground. A giant metallic creature sniffed the air with glowing red sensors. Evan held his breath. The woman pressed close to him, her hand gripping his tightly, as if letting go would doom them both. The creature growled, deep, mechanical, angry. It searched. It waited. Then, slowly, it walked away. The world fell silent again. The woman looked at Evan, her chest rising and falling fast. Her eyes soft. Grateful. Vulnerable. Evan whispered, "Who are you?" She closed her eyes. "I am, someone they must not find." The mist curled around them like a shield. Part 1 ends with her voice trembling as she adds. "And now, they will hunt you too." The cave entrance was small and hidden under the broken hill, almost invisible behind thick vines glowing softly in the purple night. Evan followed the alien woman down a narrow path where the walls hummed like they were alive. The temperature grew warmer the deeper they walked, and faint light shone from strange crystals that lined the stone. Evan breathed hard, still shaken from the metallic creature that had searched for them. His legs trembled, but he forced himself to keep moving. The woman kept a tight hold on his wrist, her grip firm yet gentle. She did not look back once. It felt like she knew the cave, like she had been here many times before. Finally, they reached a wide chamber. The soft blue glow from the crystals lit everything, the uneven rocks, the still pools of water, and the woman's silver skin. The air felt heavy, but safe. The woman stopped walking. Evan watched her chest rise and fall. She looked exhausted, but more than that, she looked scared. Not of him. Not of the cave. But of what was outside. Evan tried again, his voice calm. "Can you tell me your name?" She hesitated. Her bright violet eyes met his. After a moment, she spoke quietly. "My name is Liara." The way she said it made Evan pause. As if her name carried weight. As if saying it out loud was dangerous. "Liara," Evan repeated softly. "I'm Evan." She nodded once, then sat on a flat stone near the wall. Her glowing skin dimmed like a dying star. Evan could tell she was still listening to every sound outside the cave. He looked around slowly. "Is this your hideout?" Liara touched one of the glowing crystals. It brightened under her fingertips. "It is safe," she whispered. "For now." Evan sat beside her, keeping some distance. He did not want to make her uncomfortable. But he also didn't want her to feel alone. Something about her expression, her eyes filled with silent fear, pulled at his heart. He spoke softly. "Who was that creature? The one searching for us?" Liara didn't answer immediately. She stared at the crystal in her hand, tracing the light with her thumb. "They are hunters," she finally said. "Created for one purpose, to find me." Evan frowned. "Why? What did you do?" Liara's lips tightened. She lowered her gaze, like she was ashamed. I refused them. I refused what they wanted me to become. Evan waited for her to explain. But she stayed silent. Her shoulders trembled faintly, as if the memories hurt her deeply. He decided to shift the conversation gently. You healed my suit. How did you do that? Liara placed her hand over her chest, over the glowing lines running across her skin. My kind has energy inside. We use it to shape the world around us. I used it to protect you. To protect me? Evan asked slowly. But you don't even know me. Liara finally looked at him. In her eyes, Evan saw something heavy. Something lonely. You were alone, she said. And so was I. Her voice cracked slightly at the end. Evan felt a pull in his chest. She wasn't just powerful. She wasn't just hunted. She was isolated. She had been hiding for so long that she forgot what it felt like to speak without fear. He spoke gently. Did someone send those hunters after you? Liara nodded. My own people. Evan blinked in shock. Your people? Why would they hunt someone like you? Liara closed her eyes, breath shaking. The crystals around them flickered like candles in wind. I am not like them anymore, she whispered. I am not allowed to be near them. I am forbidden. Evan felt the weight of her words settle in the air. Forbidden. Hunted. Alone. He asked quietly, what changed? Liara opened her eyes again. Her purple irises shimmered with something deep, guilt, or maybe pain. I protected someone I should not have protected, she said. A human. Evan's heart skipped. Someone like me? She did not answer with words. She just looked at him, too long, too deep. As if she saw something old. Something familiar. Something she wasn't ready to explain. Before Evan could ask more, the cave trembled slightly. A soft rumble echoed from the entrance, like distant footsteps. Liara tensed immediately. She stood up quickly, pulling Evan with her. They are scanning the ground. Evan shook his head. How did they find us so fast? Liara closed her eyes. Her markings glowed brightly. Because they can sense energy. And I used mine, to help you. Evan felt a sharp stab of guilt. Then stop using it. Don't risk yourself anymore. I'll be fine. Liara stared at him, eyes wide, shocked by his words. No, she whispered. I will not leave you helpless. I'm not helpless, Evan said, trying to sound confident even though fear crawled up his spine. Liara stepped closer. Her voice lowered. You are injured. You are alone in a world you do not know. And I. She paused, breathing unsteady. I cannot lose another human. Evan's breath caught. The word another felt heavy. The cave trembled again, louder this time. Liara touched the wall, and the crystals responded, their glow dimming to hide their light. She whispered, stay close. Do not make a sound. Evan moved beside her, feeling the heat of her skin, the tremble in her hands. Above them, the hunter's mechanical growls echoed through the night. Liara looked at Evan, her violet eyes soft, afraid, and full of a truth she was not ready to say. In that moment, Evan understood one thing. Liara feared nothing in the universe. Except losing someone again. The cave grew darker as Liara dimmed the crystals with a small motion of her hand. Their glow sank into the stone like water fading into sand. Evan watched her fingers move slowly, gently, almost with sadness. She was tired, he could see it in the way her shoulders drooped and her breathing came too fast. When the cave finally settled into quiet blue shadows, Liara leaned her back against the cold wall. Her eyes remained fixed on the entrance as if expecting the hunters to burst in any moment. Evan sat beside her carefully. Liara, you said you protected a human before. What happened to them? Liara didn't answer right away. Her hands, resting on her knees, tightened slightly. She looked like someone holding a memory too sharp to touch. Her voice came soft, barely above a whisper. I failed them. Evan's heart dropped. Failed? How? Liara closed her eyes. The light markings on her skin flickered like small dying stars. I was a guardian, she said. Chosen to protect the borders of my people. We saw humans as fragile. Weak. But one day, I met a human explorer. A man who showed me something different. Her lips curved into a small memory of a smile. He was brave. Curious. He feared nothing, even me. Then the smile faded. When the war patrol came to remove him, I stood in their way. Evan leaned in. You protected him. Liara nodded, voice breaking. It was forbidden. Against every rule my people follow. I fought them. A long breath escaped her. But I could not fight all of them. The cave felt colder suddenly. Evan felt it deep inside, her pain was real, old, and heavy. What happened to him? Evan asked softly. Liara looked down. He died. And because of me, my people marked me as a danger. A traitor to them. A curse. Her eyes lifted slowly toward Evan. They exiled me. And the hunters were created to track my energy and destroy me on sight. Evan felt anger twist inside him. That wasn't your fault, Liara. You were trying to save someone. Liara shook her head. Intent does not matter to my people. Only obedience. Silence fell between them, deep and thick. Evan tried to imagine living like that, hunted by your own kind, carrying guilt like a ghost. He whispered, how long have you been alone? Liara's answer came like a breath of wind. Too long. Evan reached out slowly, carefully, unsure if she would allow it. But Liara didn't pull away when his hand touched her arm. The warmth of her skin pulsed under his fingers. The markings on her body glowed brighter, reacting to his touch. Liara stared at his hand, shock clear on her face. My energy, it listens to you. Evan frowned. Listens? What does that mean? Liara placed her hand over her heart. Our energy bonds to things we trust. People we feel safe with. Her voice trembled. Evan. I have not felt this glow in many years. Before Evan could respond, the cave trembled again. Harder this time. Liara snapped upright, her eyes sharp. They are coming closer. They are sensing my past energy. Evan stood quickly. What do we do? Fight? Liara shook her head. No. We run deeper. She grabbed his hand, unexpectedly, firmly, and pulled him into a narrow tunnel on the right side of the chamber. The passage was tight, forcing them to move close, their shoulders brushing. The deeper they went, the louder the world outside seemed to grow. The hunter's metallic growls echoed faintly through the rock, shaking dust loose. The tunnel opened into another chamber, larger, ancient, with high walls carved by hands long dead. Strange symbols covered the stone. Some glowed faintly when Liara walked past, like they knew her. Evan stared. What is this place? Liara stepped toward one of the walls, her fingers brushing lightly over the symbols. Old memory halls. My ancestors used this moon for training long ago. It holds stories, and warnings. Evan ran his hand over the strange carving. What kind of warnings? Liara pointed at a large symbol, shaped like a star twisting apart. This warns of the chosen core. A power inside us that can change worlds. Only a few of us were ever born with it. Evan turned to her, surprised. You have that? She didn't speak. She didn't need to. The glow on her skin answered for her. Evan felt the air stir gently around them. So that's why they hunt you? Because you're powerful? No, Liara's voice softened into sorrow. Because I used that power to protect a human. Evan took a step closer, his voice steady. You did the right thing. Liara looked at him slowly, her violet eyes deep with something silent, something heavy. I see the same bravery in you, she said. The same heart. That is what scares me. Evan blinked. Scares you? Why? Liara lifted her hand, touching the carving again. The symbol glowed brightly under her fingers. Because the last time I trusted a human, I lost everything. Evan held her gaze. I'm not him, Liara. I won't abandon you. Liara stared at him, long, searching, like she was trying to read his soul. The air around her softened. Her markings glowed faintly, like a heartbeat returning after years of silence. But before she could respond, a thunderous explosion rocked the tunnels. Dust fell from above. The walls shook violently. Liara's eyes went wide. They breached the surface. Evan tightened his fists. Then we'll face them together. Liara turned to him slowly, her voice trembling with something between fear and hope. Evan. There is something you must know before the hunters reach us. Her lips parted. Ready to reveal the truth she had hidden since the moment she saw him. The tunnel shook again, dust raining down like dry snowfall. Far above them, metal claws scraped the surface of the moon. The hunters were not guessing anymore. They were searching with purpose, and they were close. Liara held Evan's arm tightly. Her violet eyes glowed brighter than any crystal in the hall. Not with power, but with fear. Evan, she whispered, listen carefully. What I need to tell you, it may change everything. Evan nodded. Tell me. But before Liara could speak, a sharp crack split the air. A massive chunk of stone broke off from the ceiling and crashed near them, sending dust and pebbles flying. Liara gasped and pushed Evan back, not away from danger, but closer to her, shielding him with her own body. Her skin shined with bright silver energy, forming a quick barrier that cracked under the falling debris. Evan grabbed her shoulders. Liara. Don't waste your power. But she shook her head, breathing fast. I will not let harm touch you. Not again. That word, again, hit Evan like lightning. Before he could press her, a loud rumbling echoed from the hallway they had come from. The hunters' red sensors lit the walls, scanning, sweeping, crawling closer. Their steps were heavy, metallic, and hungry. Liara's eyes hardened. We must move. Without waiting, she pulled Evan through a narrow stone corridor. The ground sloped downward, deeper into the ancient moon's core. The air grew colder, but the walls glowed faintly under Liara's presence. Where are we going? Evan whispered. To the lower plains, Liara replied. There are old paths there. Hard for hunters to enter. Evan followed her without question. Every few steps, the cave vibrated with another explosion. The hunters were tearing the tunnels apart, closing in from every side. Liara slowed only when they reached a wide, cracked hall filled with shining mineral pools. The surface of each pool rippled even though no wind touched them. Evan stepped forward curiously. What is this place? Liara's face softened with a memory. Training ground. My people once used these waters to test young guardians. They would face their fears here. Evan pointed to the closest pool. Is it dangerous? Liara shook her head. Not unless pushed. She looked away, as if remembering something painful. Liara, Evan said gently, you tried to tell me something before the cave shook. Liara hesitated. The glow of the waters reflected in her eyes, making them seem deeper, older. Yes. I need you to know the truth. The real reason I came to this moon. Evan stepped closer. Tell me. Liara finally turned to him. Her voice trembled, not from fear of hunters, but from fear of truth. I sensed a human signal long ago. A life signature that felt familiar. She paused, swallowing hard. I thought it was the explorer I once protected. I thought he might still be alive, even after all these years. Evan's chest tightened. But it wasn't him. It was me. Liara nodded slowly. When I saw you, everything inside me reacted. My energy, my markings, even the crystals around us. I realized the truth. Her voice dropped to a whisper. You carry the same energy pattern as him. Evan froze. Liara, what does that mean? It means, she said, stepping closer, you are connected to him. His last mission passed through your colony. And some part of his energy, maybe through tech, maybe through contact, lives in you. Evan stared at her, stunned. You thought I was him? Liara shook her head. No. I knew you weren't him. But your presence felt like his last echo. And I could not leave that echo to die. Evan placed a hand on her arm. Liara, you didn't fail him. He died because of the war. Not you. Liara's eyes shined with a mix of pain and relief. I failed to protect a human once. I will not fail again. Evan squeezed her hand, and for a moment, the world around them felt still. Soft. Safe. But the peace didn't last. The ground split open behind them as a hunter drilled through the wall. A huge metallic beast crawled out, four-legged, armored, with a glowing red sensor like a giant single eye. Its claws carved deep marks into the stone. The beast growled, a deep, mechanical sound that echoed across the hall. Evan stepped in front of Liara. Evan, no, she gasped, reaching for him. But he stood firm. You protected me. It's my turn. The hunter leaped. Liara reacted instantly. She pulled Evan against her chest and unleashed a burst of silver energy that blasted the creature backward. It smashed into the far wall, body sparking and limbs twitching. But the explosion drained her. She fell to her knees, trembling, her markings flickering like fading lights. Evan knelt beside her. Liara. Are you okay? She pushed out a weak breath. More are coming. Evan glanced around. The tunnel behind them glowed with red lights. Dozens of hunters. He grabbed Liara's hand. Then we run together. Liara looked at him, her voice barely a whisper. You still trust me, even after everything? Evan helped her stand. I trust you more than anything out there. For the first time, Liara smiled, a small, fragile smile full of warmth. But the moment ended quickly. A massive shadow loomed over the far ledge. Not a small hunter. Not a beast. A towering armored commander, glowing with dark purple energy, the opposite of Liara's silver glow. Liara's face went pale. No, not him. The commander's voice thundered through the hall. Liara of the Forbidden Core. Surrender the human. Or fall with him. Evan stepped closer to her, refusing to move away. Liara squeezed his hand, fear and fury burning inside her. Evan, if we fight him, you will learn the final truth about me. Her voice shook. And I don't know if you are ready. The towering commander stepped forward, metal armor scraping the stone like a blade dragged across bone. His presence alone made the air vibrate. Purple energy pulsed from his body like a living storm. Behind him, dozens of hunters crawled into the hall, red sensors glowing like angry eyes. Liara's fingers tightened around Evan's hand. She trembled, not from weakness, but from something deeper. Evan, she whispered, listen to me. What I must tell you, it is the truth I feared most. Evan shook his head. You don't have to say anything now. Yes, she said firmly, I must. Her voice carried pain. Old pain. Heavy pain. The commander raised his giant staff. Liara, you will surrender the human. Or your exile ends today, in death. Liara didn't even look at him. Her eyes stayed locked on Evan. Evan, the human I once protected, he did not just die. Her breath shivered. He died saving me. Evan felt the words punch him like a shockwave. Saving you? Liara nodded slowly. He stepped between me and the commander when I refused to capture him. The commander struck him down, with the same weapon you see now. Evan glanced at the commander's raised staff, feeling cold anger rise inside him. Liara continued, voice cracking softly. When he fell, it awakened something in me. Something forbidden. Something dangerous. Her markings flared slightly. My people saw me as a threat. And they ordered the hunters to chase me until I vanished from existence. Evan's heart pounded. That's why they hunt you. Liara's eyes softened with sadness. Yes. I was never meant to protect humans. But my heart chose differently. Evan moved a little closer, touching her shoulder. You did the right thing. But Liara shook her head slowly. No, Evan. There is more. Her voice turned faint, almost afraid of her own truth. The energy inside me, the power you see, it connects to hearts. It awakens only in the presence of someone I deeply trust, someone I care for. Evan froze. Liara took a trembling breath. The first human I bonded with died. When I saw you, I felt that same connection. The same pull. The same light. Her voice fell to a whisper. I tried to resist it. I tried not to feel anything. But I failed. Evan's heart beat faster. Liara. She whispered the words that had been burning inside her since the moment they met. Evan. I did not just save you. I chose you. The air stilled. The hunters stopped moving. Even the commander paused, his sensor eyes narrowing slowly. Liara stepped closer, her silver glow warming the cold chamber. You asked why my power reacts to you. Why the crystals follow your touch. Why I risk everything for you. Her lips trembled, her violet eyes glistening. It is because you carry the same courage, the same heart, the same presence as the human I once lost. Evan swallowed hard. Liara. I'm not him. I know, she whispered. And that is why this is harder. A soft tear rolled down her cheek, shining like liquid silver. You are not him. But my heart chose again. Before Evan could respond, the commander's thunderous voice cut through the emotional silence. Enough. He pointed his staff at Evan. Human. Step forward. She is bound to fall. You have no place beside her. Evan stepped in front of Liara without hesitation. If she falls, Evan said, his voice sharp and steady. Then I fall with her. Liara inhaled sharply. She hadn't expected that. She hadn't dared to hope for it. The commander growled. Then you both die. He raised his staff, energy crackling. Liara rushed in front of Evan, arms wide, body glowing like a shield. No. The commander unleashed a bolt of dark energy. It shot across the hall. But before it hit Liara, Evan grabbed her hand tightly. In that instant, something impossible happened. Their combined energies exploded outward. Silver from Liara. Blue from Evan. The entire hall flashed with blinding light. The hunters were thrown back like broken toys, crashing into stone walls. The commander staggered, armor cracking under the force. The pool waters rippled violently. The carvings on the walls lit up one by one as if recognizing the new energy. Liara stared at Evan in shock. Evan, how did you? But she didn't finish the sentence. Because Evan's arm was glowing, the same silver glow as her markings. Evan looked down at his hand, stunned. Liara, what is happening to me? Liara touched his arm softly, eyes wide with awe and fear. Your heart, answered mine. You formed a bond. A real one. A core bond. What does that mean? Evan asked. Liara's voice trembled. It means your strength and my power are now connected. Shared. Merged. She stepped closer. Evan, you awakened the part of me I kept locked away. And now. She looked toward the commander, who struggled to rise. Now I am no longer alone. The commander roared, fury shaking the hall. You dare form a core bond with a human? Liara stood taller, silver energy rising around her like a storm ready to break free. Yes, she said. And I will protect this human, just as he protects me. The hall exploded into bright light as Liara and Evan stood side by side, glowing together, two energies fused into one. The commander raised his staff again. But Liara's voice echoed through the hall with newfound power. If you want him, you will have to go through me. The screen fades on their joined energy, filling the chamber with blinding silver-white light. And the chapter ends with one final line. For the first time in years, the galaxy trembled not because of Liara's power, but because she had someone to fight for again.